The hashtag, if you can't see it here, is Modi in America.
Thank you so much, Hari. Today is truly an honor for myself to be here co-hosting alongside you, especially as the first Indian American Miss America. This goes to show that the values and roots have never left me, so thank you.
So to honor and... Let's go ahead.
Today is also very special because over 400 organizations from across the United States work together to put on today's event. And over 18,000 Indian Americans have traveled here from all over the U.S. to join our elected representatives. In welcoming the Prime Minister of the world's largest democracy to the home of the world's oldest democracy.
So to honor and celebrate this momentous occasion, we've gathered an eclectic and entertaining program for you that reflects the diversity of our community, the experiences of our families, and the bridge that we have built between these two nations.
Before we start our program, I especially want to thank Akshay Kapoor. He has put together today's incredible program. And if Mr. Akshay is here, could you please come up so we can give you a round of applause?
Thanks so much. I gotta go back and say hello.
All right, so we're gonna start the program off with a wonderful Gujarati folk dance. Please welcome Smita Mika Patel.
I think you had them at Gujarati.
Please welcome Smita Miki Patel, founder of the India Performing Arts Center and the choreographer of this beautiful dance.
All right, these are live pictures from Madison Square Garden, where the event is all set to begin.
तरंग उठे मन में उमंग जागे है ये तरंग उठे मन में उमंग जागे है ये तरंग उठे मन में उमंग जागे है ये तरंग उठे हालों ने जइए गरबा मां सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे घुमवान सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे ओ सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे घुमवान सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे घुमवान सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे ओ सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे घुमवान सैर हालों ने जइए आज गरबे
Stay live with these pictures. We're also going to talk in the run-up to the entire ceremony.
Thank you all for that wonderful
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving at Madison Square Garden in just a moment from now to get you more from this event. We're going to go live in just a moment. Live images continuously here on Headlines Today. We're not going to shift away from these pictures or this story. That's Nina Davuluri, Miss America, who's one of the persons hosting this iconic event at Madison Square Garden. With me in the studio, Shailkan Sharma, former diplomat, also with us live, K.C. Singh. And we're going to speak to both gentlemen in the run-up to this event. K.C. Singh, if I could come to you first, for a quick bit of perspective. Yesterday was the UN speech. Day after tomorrow is going to be, meetings with the business community as well as Obama. Today is the big visual splash, Mr. Singh, the spectacle that is, perhaps has become the face of this entire visit. Everybody, imagines that this Madison Square Garden event is really what this visit is all about. Tell us, Mr. Singh, as a former diplomat, as a person who's worked in government and been part of visits like this, how important is this leadership connect with the Indian community?
Look, we must put it in perspective. I think we know that Mr. Modi is the most popular leader in India. We also know he had tremendous support amongst the NRI, PIO community, particularly those from Gujarat. So he's had this tremendous support. But at the same time, we must put it in perspective. There are 3 million plus Indians in USA. About a quarter to 1/3 of them are Sikhs. Then there are Muslims and Christians, and there are other people who support him or don't support him. But in any case, they are happy to see a strong Prime Minister come from India who provides a bridge between the two countries. But that is far from saying that they're all very hardcore supporters of the kind that we were seeing interacting with Rajdeep. We must remember that even when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was Prime Minister, they expended a lot of energy reaching out to their supporters in North America. They've had a group of support amongst the group. They even posted an ambassador, which was a bit of an absurdity, because you couldn't have two ambassadors to US. So they had somebody called an ambassador to the NRIs or PIOs, who was posted then in New York, because the ambassador in Washington said, and the State Department said, we can't have two ambassadors. So they've been reaching out to this community for a long time, and Mr. Modi in particular, I think has been particularly successful, partly because a large part, for instance, I'm told almost 20% of the Indians in the tri-state area are Gujaratis.
Yes.
Who would be really his hardcore supporters. There are a lot of students are there, 100,000 odd students. There are a number of people talking to Rajdeep were computer scientists. They are looking at the H1 visas. So, you know, different people are approaching Mr. Modi from different angles of what they see as their aspirations,
yes,
which he will satisfy, which he will meet. But all of them are not hardcore US citizens who are then plugged into the US system. It does become a demonstration of a very, very popular leader who's come from India. But the US government will take it, put it in perspective and see it. For them it is, because in any case he's going to be meeting congressmen and senators in Washington. So he'll meet some more here. And the Indian community, let's not forget, is under 1% of US's population. It has money, tremendous influence via money,
yes,
and via the rich people who are able to contribute. But in numbers, it's still a small community.
In terms of numbers, it's still a small community. It has rising influence as far as the United States system is concerned, but nothing really compared to many of the other communities in the United States. I want to bring in Shilkant Sharma as well. Mr. Sharma, what do you think of this, enormous adulation we've seen for Narendra Modi for the Indian community, from the Indian community in the United States? All of it sort of culminating in this spectacular visual event at Madison Square Garden. But as KC Singh said, there are aspirations.
This is the first time that you have a real mass leader from India in the US. A mass leader at a time when the Indian diaspora has come of age. He connects with them spontaneously.
Yes.
It is these people who spend their youth looking for options to go to America. They might have stayed overnight for the visa, they might have traveled difficultly, and they must have settled down in difficult places, and through the sheer dint of hard work they have built themselves.
Yes.
And they immediately connect with Modi, who also has come up like that in life. So, we should not miss this opportunity. This is a historic beginning, because for the first time you've had a leader of that kind who can connect with these people. You may see it in perspective, all right, but it is how the NRIs are everywhere. Actually, I remember in Europe also,
yes,
the NRI communities are now increasingly assertive. They relate to India, they're connected to India, and they find where they live home away from home. So in this kind of a setting, when you have a Prime Minister coming who speaks to them with this kind of boldness,
yes,
as Prime Minister Modi is prepared to do. He's now moving to MSG, which is the place for rock stars,
yes,
and he's going to address them. And his lingo, his idiom immediately goes straight. He's not. He's a good communicator.
Yes.
And in the US also, the Indian community has lays great store by communication. They are not the silent types. The US society is like that. They like to communicate. If you go through a highway where forlorn place, there is a man sitting in the toll booth, he might start striking conversation with you. So this is US, and Mr. Modi does that.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Sharma, stay with us. We're going to go across live once again. The event is about to begin. Let's just listen in.
Namaskar. Good evening. Good afternoon, I mean. We're very proud, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here. I'd first like to do a song which says, I love my India.
But I'm actually having communication with your life. chained off.
Shekhar Gupta is live with me as well. Mr. Gupta, I'm sure you are probably being able to see these live pictures coming in from Madison Square Garden. Kavita Krishnamurthy and L. Subramaniam on stage, singing I Love My India. Everything sort of organized, all the details really taken care of. Before this, there was, a Garba performance. All of this in the build-up to Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually getting on stage there, sir. And in many ways, Mr. Gupta, this is... this event at Madison Square Garden has become something of a nucleus for this entire event. It's like almost the stuff that happens after Madison Square Garden and the stuff that happens before.
Thank you. The next song that we're doing for you all, it's a very traditional song called Vaishnava Janato. But...
Mr. Gupta, can you hear me?
Because it's a massive audience and it's Madison Square, we are doing it in a very fusion approach where both my husband...
Okay, we'll try and reconnect with Shekhar Gupta in just a moment. Meanwhile, enjoy these pictures. We've got Shekhar Gupta back with us on the line. Mr. Gupta, welcome. Thanks for joining us on our live coverage. Kavita Krishnamurthy and L. Subramaniam on stage right there in Madison Square Garden, sir. There was a Garba event right before this. A huge lineup of artists and artisans, performing right before Prime Minister Narendra Modi finally gets on stage. In many ways, this event, sir, has become the face of this entire visit.
Yes, absolutely, because I think in some ways it's also a Thanksgiving party for Mr. Modi towards NRIs in America, particularly Gujarati NRIs, because at a time when he was boycotted and his visa was denied, they are the ones who fought for him.
Yes.
And I think this is something that other leaders have tried in the past. Rajiv Gandhi, remember the Festival of India, and he then built a constituency among NRIs, some of them that actually came very close to politics and became controversial. Mr. Modi is even more of a mass leader, and I think he's using that to the fullest ability.
Well, that's definitely the case. How Mr. Gupta, over the last few days, the huge amount of adulation we've seen for Prime Minister Modi on the streets, he's been able to step out and meet some of them, from time to time. Is this the most important thing about this visit? Because of the extravagantly emotional things you hear from Indians in the United States. We've interviewed so many hundreds of them, all through this weekend and through the past week as well. And they say, everything's going to take care of itself. We believe in Prime Minister Modi. He's going to make everything okay. It's a huge amount of idealism and faith in this leader, sir.
Well, I'll be a little skeptical talking about NRIs because they don't live in India.
Yes.
They don't live in India. They think they have the right to lecture us on what we should do and what we should not do. I think they will make a great contribution even to our cause if they elect better congressmen and senators and better presidents and better governments in America. So I think any new Prime Minister, particularly if he's a popular Prime Minister, will kindle a degree of optimism. Mr. Modi, given the agenda on which he has come to power, given how good a communicator he is, given how he has restored some self-esteem back in India, is bound to get these responses. And I think congratulations to him. He has to now live up to all this. This also tells you that expectations have now really risen to a certain level. At the same time, Mr. Modi is smart enough to know that support from NRIs doesn't particularly mean very much, except over a 3-day or 4-day period of celebrations and receptions on a foreign visit. So you have to see this in perspective, because in any case they will not come back and vote for him, and in any case they will not solve his many problems in India. And frankly, Mr. Modi is quite popular at this point within India itself.
Absolutely. We're going to, Shekhar Gupta, please continue to stay with us. We're going to cut across live once again. Dip into this live coverage coming to you straight from Madison Square Garden.
So much. I'd like to thank Dr. Bharat, Dr. Patel, Dr. Shah, Prakashji, everybody for having us here. Mr. Rajiv Hamri, thank you so much.
to Dale Henry and Dr. Subramaniam for this beautiful piece. And also thank you to Padma Shri Kavita Krishnamurthy for your wonderful performance.